So back in September, I did a review of Hungryroot, the food/meal delivery service. Kind of my traditional style of a review where I tried the service, I vlog it, I let you know what I liked and didn't like, and I let you know if I thought the service was worth it. My conclusion in that video was that I did think that Hungryroot was worth it. And since then, I've had some other experiences with Hungryroot that made me feel like I should probably do an update to let you guys know how my opinions have changed on Hungryroot, because they have quite drastically. We did our first order in September of 2021, did it for a week, did my review based on that week. You know, with these services, how if you don't push your delivery off, you'll just automatically keep getting them. So I had skipped the next few deliveries. So then sometime in October, my next delivery just auto-fulfilled, and I was like, oh my god, it's so annoying because I didn't get to pick what I wanted. It was all pretty bad, and I decided to cancel it and not do it anymore. I was like, I did like it for the week that we did it, but just really didn't like that subsequent order. Then sometime in December, Paul and I were going through a phase where just never having food around for lunch, just finding ourselves like not eating lunch or not eating enough for lunch, skipping lunch, and we were like, we need to fix this. So he's like, let's order that service again. Like, it was pretty good. And I was like, yeah, it was pretty good. Let's do it again. And so I started back up my Hungryroot account and ordered in December. Now this time I had a really bad experience, and I'm going to go into that in a little bit. I think I did one more order after that, and then I was like, I'm done, I'm canceling. So that was around early January. So then I had kind of kept thinking like, you know, I should really do an update to let everyone know kind of what went wrong. So about a month ago, I was planning on sitting down and doing a video like this. While I was writing out my notes for the video, like I was getting ready to film it that day, I went to my Hungryroot account because I was like, let me just check a few things. Like, I just want to kind of check the timing of some of the orders. And so I had to restart my Hungryroot account to do this. And while I'm in my account details, I see that I have a $350 credit. And I was like, what the fuck is that all about? So in my mind, I was like, did they charge me $350 and I never used it? And somehow they're still charging my card even though I closed my account. I sent an email. I was like, what's going on? Why do I have this account credit? The guy gets back to me and he's like, hey, Marielle, it looks like you've been sharing the Hungryroot love and people have been using your discount link. And so you have account credit from that. So just to give you guys a quick explainer on all this stuff, if you don't know about affiliate links, and I'm sure a lot of you do, there's a few different types of affiliate links. There's the kind, and you'll see these all over Instagram and YouTube and whatever, when people are like, here's the skirt I'm wearing, and then they link to it, and then if you buy that skirt, the creator gets a kickback, the creator gets a commission. It's a big way that a lot of creators make money. But then there's also the type of affiliate links which you know, Daily Harvest has, and a lot of these services have, where I'll give a link and it's like, you get this much money off of your first order, and then I also get a credit. So I don't actually get money. It's not like a typical affiliate link where you're actually getting dollars in your bank account. It's simply a credit. You know, I put a lot of work and effort and time into my videos, and so these, you know, credits toward a service that I already like and already use just feels like a nice benefit. With Hungryroot, when I closed my account down, I kind of forgot that I even had the affiliate link up in the original video, or I assumed that if people used it, they'd get a discount, but then I would just get nothing because I had closed my account. So I was like, oh, well, my account, I no longer have an account with Hungryroot. So long story short is that I guess enough people had used my code, I think it was like 7 people, that I had this credit building up in my account. So at that point, this is like a month ago, keep in mind, I am like preparing to do this video, and then I'm find out that I have all this credit in my account, and I was like, I could use that credit. You know, it's basically $350 in free groceries. It would kind of be silly for me not to use it. So then I was like, I feel weird using it and making another order, but also making a video being like, I don't recommend Hungryroot. So I was like, let me just wait, let me use the credit, let me get some more food, try it for a few more weeks, and then I'll make my update video sort of based on that experience. And based on that experience, things kind of changed for me again. So I'm gonna tell you why and sort of where I stand today on Hungryroot. I'm not going to reiterate everything that I liked and didn't like about Hungryroot the first time around, because that's all there in the first video if you're curious. But let's get into the things that I really didn't like about my Hungryroot experience the second time around, which was in December, and the third time around, which is this most recent few weeks. Okay, so the biggest and most egregious thing is that they sent me meat in one of my boxes. So one of the things that I really liked the first time around was that even though it's not a vegan service, it is extremely vegan friendly. Basically, when you sign up, you tell them what your dietary requirements are, and if you select vegan, then when you get into the system where they're showing you the options for food, all you're seeing are vegan options. So it really does make it feel like you're just ordering from a vegan service. I felt like they took the dietary restrictions very seriously. So as you can imagine, I was horrified when in my December box, I pulled out a package of turkey meatballs. And the way that they handled it, I felt was really lacking, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. The second biggest thing that really drove me crazy about Hungryroot and my subsequent experiences were the substitutions. Basically, you place your order and you tell them exactly what you want, and then your order like closes. Like that's it, your order's closed, the order window's done. And for me, like my order window closes on a Monday because I get my package the following Saturday. By Monday, I've got everything selected, and then later in the week, I would get emails from them being like, oh, we had to make a few substitutions. Like, don't worry, everything's still gonna taste great, or whatever their email said. This happened a lot, and I found that it really affected my enjoyment of the service because I wasn't getting the things that I ordered, and things that they were substituting in weren't things that I wanted. For example, something that I really liked that they had on their website were these hummus snack packs. I got these in the original video. I ordered 3 of those, and what they sent me instead were 3 of the solely fruit jerkies, which I've had before and they're fine, but I don't know. Do you guys think that's a comparable substitution? Because basically what I ordered was a savory snack that's crunchy and high in protein, and then what they gave me was fruit jerky. Basically just fruit. Another time I ordered chili, which was not a Hungryroot brand, I forget what brand it was, and then they sent me instead the Hungryroot 3-bean salad, which the only thing it really has in common with chili is that they both have beans in them, but the Hungryroot salads, like their bean salads, are like super tart, super like vinegary. When I wanted chili, I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, like a tart, vinegary, cold bean salad, perfect. Another thing that was more recent was we had ordered granola and they swapped it out for their Hungryroot coconut clusters. They're basically what they sound like. I mean, it's toasted coconut, it's like clustered together, very, very sweet, not much substance. The substitutions always seem to prioritize Hungryroot's own products. They're obviously trying to push their own products, but when you're not really a huge fan of their own products, that's not ideal. I wish they would give you more options on how you wanted to deal with the substitutions. For example, if they gave you an option that was like, if an item isn't available, would you like us to pick a substitution or just not get the item at all and get refunded? I would definitely choose the latter. I would want to be refunded and not have to pay for something that I didn't order and didn't want in the first place. I also wish that with higher popularity items or items that tend to sell out more often, they would give you an option to select an alternative instead of them just arbitrarily sending you something else that like they think makes sense as a substitution, but doesn't make sense to me. So the third issue that I had, this relates to the first 2 issues that I mentioned, is the customer service and how they handle these issues. So like I said, in December is when they sent me meat, and they also had screwed up 3 other things with my order. So it was just a really bad experience. And I emailed, I was obviously very upset about having had the turkey meatballs sent to me as a vegan. I also pointed out the other things that had been swapped out, and I reiterated that, the replacements I get, but having meat sent in my package when clearly I'm a vegan is very upsetting. So I got a response that was like, thank you for reaching out. Completely understand the frustration with receiving items you didn't choose. Didn't acknowledge the meat thing or mention it at all. He credited $18 to my account for the affected items and an additional $10 for the inconvenience. I responded, I was like, I also realized there's something else I didn't receive that was essential for one of my recipes, so now I can't even make that recipe. You didn't acknowledge the fact that I was sent turkey meatballs in your email. I feel like customer service, the standard of customer service has changed a lot in the last like 5 to 10 years. Maybe this makes me sound like ancient saying this, of like customer service isn't what it used to be, but I've had experiences in the past with companies where if something like this happened, like they sent meat to a vegan, they would like refund your order. And so for them to, not even acknowledge it or mention it and then just be like, we've given you an account credit. And so I said, I think the only appropriate solution would be to refund my order, not an account credit. He said, I'm sorry, he's apologized for not acknowledging my concerns in the previous email. He acknowledged the turkey meatballs thing. He then removed the $18 credit he had given me and refunded it to my original form of payment. He said, unfortunately, we're unable to process the full refund for this order. I hope you'll give us one more try. It just feels like the bare minimum. Like I said, if they are going to give a substitution, it should just be like, this one's on us because we know you didn't order this, but like you might like this instead. He did end up adding an extra $20 to my Hungryroot account. So I ended up having like $45 in credit on my Hungryroot account. And so I was like, okay, I'll do one more order. And then they messed something else up and that's when I canceled. And that was in January. The next thing that I don't really like is their payment/credit system. It's very confusing and it seems sort of deliberately designed that way to confuse people and make you just not realize how much money you're actually spending. So basically when you sign up, you take this questionnaire and that's when you say your food preferences and all that. And then they ask you how many meals do you think you want each week. And so then you're like, 2 lunches, like 1 dinner, a few snacks, whatever you say. And then they give you a number of credits based on that. So for me, I had 37 credits. So basically you have to go in, edit your order, take out everything you don't want, and then you have to fill it up with everything you do want because it doesn't let you hit save until you have a certain number of credits. So I can't be like, well, I've only got 30 credits worth of food in here, but this is really all I want. It won't let me save that. What's funny though is that it will let you save when you get to a certain point. When I got to 35 credits, it let me save it, even though I technically had 37 credits. A message pops up that's like, you are under your credits. If you don't use all your credits, these credits will be gone. But if I went over by 2, it would charge me for going over by 2. I think that's shitty that they don't give you an option to spend less credits than you've been allotted. But if you go over, they have no problem charging you extra, but like they won't let your credits roll over into the next month, especially because the credit system seems so arbitrary. The next thing I don't like is that, as I've mentioned, Hungryroot is has these 2 different parts of it. It has their recipe side of things, which are really like their meal kits, and then it has their grocery side of things. So in your settings, you can select essentially how many credits you want for meals and how many credits you want for groceries. So for me, for example, I started realizing that I really just want the groceries. I don't want the meals because I don't really like any of their meals. But it doesn't let you do 0 for the meals. I think the minimum you have to do is like 2 or 4. So you kind of have to do a workaround where you take the cart that they give you that they've already filled up with stuff that they've chosen for you, take everything out, and then just put all your groceries in that you want. But you can't, by default, have your account be a groceries only account. Obviously, they're really trying to push their recipes side of things, and they probably want that to be their main thing. But since so many of their Hungryroot packaged foods like really suck, that doesn't work for me. The next thing that I really hated was not being able to see what you actually ordered. So when you place an order, you have no record of what you actually ordered. It makes it so that when you get your box and you're looking through your box and you're like, wait a minute, did I get this or didn't I get 2 of these or what did I get? I thought I had more of this and I don't remember ordering that. You can't go online and look at what you ordered, you can only see what's in your fridge. So you can only see what they actually sent you. That to me is just another way for them to limit transparency and make it so that they can more easily mess your order up and switch things around without you knowing. The last thing I'll say that I really didn't like is their reminder emails were like barely existent. So you know, like I said, my deadline for ordering was Monday at 7 p.m. I think you get like one email that's like, reminder, you have until this time on Monday to complete your order. But their email, it's like, that is like baked into sort of like a generic, seemingly email blast type of email of like, recipes we're loving this week, you know, something that you would kind of overlook in your inbox, versus a service like Daily Harvest where they give you multiple reminders via text, via email, like, hey, your window's coming up, make changes by this time. It feels to me like Hungryroot doesn't want you to know when your window is closing because they don't want you to remember to skip it or to cancel your order or cancel your account or whatever. And that just feels shady. Okay, so I've told you all of my issues with Hungryroot. You might be very surprised to hear that despite all of these issues, I did still feel like Hungryroot was worth it, and I'm going to tell you why. Now, I know it's kind of hard to determine something's objective value when it's not really like my money per se that I spent on this last round of Hungryroot, but I was kind of thinking of this $350 as like, this is my money, this is as if I put it in my account, just treat it like that to try to figure out whether it's worth it or not. So I did still find Hungryroot worth it over the last few weeks, but just for groceries. So not for the recipes, but just for the grocery side of things. Here are some of the things that I felt like did make it worth it this time. I would say hands down the best meals that I ever had from Hungryroot were meals that I put together myself from their grocery selections. So one of the meals I made was, they sell this lentil dal on their site, and it's not Hungryroot, it's some other brand. I got that. I got some of their mini potatoes and spinach. And I made a meal myself at home using the lentil dal. I simmered it with some coconut milk that I had at home. I added in some grape tomatoes. I added in the spinach. I roasted the potatoes and then just kind of ate it all together. I've made this meal now multiple times and it's so delicious. I also made, using the Kite Hill ravioli, I did a butternut squash ravioli with crispy sage butter and broccolini. I got the ravioli and the broccolini from Hungryroot, the sage and the butter I had from elsewhere, but that was a really great meal that I was able to put together with Hungryroot ingredients. And so it takes a little extra time to do it that way, but they do have a pretty good selection of groceries in their marketplace, and so that for me really felt worth it. And the convenience factor was the biggest thing in my first video, the biggest positive for me, and that still remains true today despite all of the little annoyances. When I'm able to remember to select my order on time, it is extremely convenient just having this food coming straight to my door. It doesn't provide all of our food and meals for the week, but it gives us a really good start to the week, I would say. And then there's another feature that might be new, or I just didn't notice it the first time around. I knew that you could sort of refine your preferences in terms of like, I don't ever want to get mock meats, or I don't ever want to get tofu. You could sort of refine it in broad strokes like that. But what you can do, you can go through everything that they have on their website, every item of food, and say that you never want to receive it. I basically went through and said I never wanted to get like literally pretty much every Hungryroot packaged item that they have for offer on the vegan side of things. So at least it gives me the confidence that if I do ever have an accidental order go through again, at least I won't be getting anything that I hate. So with all of that being said, I definitely think Hungryroot has a lot of room for improvement in different areas, but I did still think, based on the convenience factor, based on the selection that they offer, and your ability to designate certain items as items that you never want to receive. I did still think it was worth it. So that's it for my Hungryroot update. I know it's kind of a mixed bag, a lot of bad, some good. Overall, just barely still worth it to me, just for the groceries, like I said. But I would love to hear from you guys if there are any other food delivery services that you've been using and really loving. I'd especially love to hear about fully vegan ones that I haven't tried. You know, I've tried Vistra, I've tried Purple Carrot, obviously to, you know, support an all vegan company, but also to not have to worry about something like turkey meatballs ending up in my box. Thanks for watching, you guys. I hope you found this video helpful. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Subscribe for more forkable content, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.